Welcome. I'm Lynn Redgrave, here in the heart of the theatre district of New York. From Hispanic ballet to jazz at Lincoln Center, the Met. From MoMA, BAM, and Broadway's Bright Lights.
She pulled a fast one on me. She kept right on breathing.
To the Lower East Side, the Barrio, and the Boogie Down Bronx. You're invited on a very special tour of the arts in and around this magical island. So please join us. We're setting the stage.
Major funding for Setting the Stage is provided by the Shelley and Donald Rubin Foundation.
Welcome to world-famous Birdland, here in the heart of New York City and home of some world-class jazz. Let's meet a very special artist who's been transporting audiences with the virtuosity of his music for decades. Wynton Marsalis not only nurtures young musicians, but with them, he explores one of music's most complex and challenging idioms, American jazz. But his goal is simplicity and delight. Let's see why, for him, structure equals freedom, and how homework lets you play.
Jazz is designed to teach you, to help you communicate with other people through the blues and through the shuffle rhythm. And we're related to almost every music in the world.
Jazz music is the most complex of the American musics that there is out here.
Regardless of what we do, you know, our intention is to try to inspire people to love this form of art, jazz music, which is an amazing form of art.
When we started the Jazz Lincoln Center Orchestra, it was all the surviving members of Duke Ellington's band and the members of my septet. Then I was in my late 20s, and all of those guys were in their late 70s. The band is very elite. You know, if somebody doesn't want to learn the history of the music or they don't know it, we're very clear with them. Man, you don't need to be in the band.
Your role when you're in a large ensemble like that is to be part of something and to be able to support the vision of whoever's leading the band or whoever has an idea of what this band is to accomplish.
Everyone on that stage can play. That is important. So there's no weak links. It's good to have that. The challenge of doing that is that everybody has to be on their game the whole time. And what it does, it pushes you to be better, not to be better than anyone else, but to be better than you were the day before.
You have to know a lot of music. You have to learn the whole history of kind of American jazz music. You have to be able to play it. You have to be able to solo. You have to be able to interpret your parts.
Composition is basically the melody, chords if there are chords, if there's existing chord structure, and maybe some kind of rhythmic bass. An arrangement might be how the saxophones or the rhythm section, what their role is going to be in the performance of the piece. So you could take a simple melody and chords, and then you can voice it out. So the saxophones are supportive, and the trombone has a melody, and the trombones take a back seat, and the trumpets now are featured on something. And then someone solos, some kind of a shout chorus. When the whole ensemble plays together and brings the whole thing up to a higher level. Improvisation is really the key and sort of the central focus of what jazz is. It's about how the musician improvises and how they make up something based on the form and the melody of the song.
And our forefathers, people like John Coltrane, did a lot of studies with Indian music. Duke Ellington wrote great pieces like the Afro-Eurasian Eclipse Suite and the Latin American Suite. So They set the ground, the framework for us to understand that one of our mandates is to interface with other cultures. We get new audiences involved in the music. We create new types of art and other things. And all of that is our objective.
The whole process of writing music is incredible. I mean, this is what I wish I could share with people. People are going to come to a concert and be there for a couple hours and walk away. This has been 6 months of intense writing, you know, of music, and that whole journey is something I wish I could share with people. Because that's the beauty. It's not the finished product. That's part of it, but it's also how you get from point A to point B and how you get from the beginning to the end of the whole process.
And these little blues comments that come in between are just...
D again. 1, 2, D, 2,
We can really introduce this music to younger musicians by just playing the music well, playing it with the life and the feeling.
Now, many of the musicians that we play with are younger than me, so I knew them when they were 15, 14, 16, and I've seen them grow in the music.
By the time I got to be about 16 or 17 is when I really got serious about music. And once I did, it kind of took a hold of me. And it had kind of been waiting in the wings, like telling me, what have you been waiting for this whole time?
The majority of the players who are coming out of schools aren't necessarily speaking from their own passion. They're speaking from something from more of a technical standpoint. So what we end up doing is we are developing this art form and keeping it alive. But we're keeping it alive often with a lot of musicians who maybe aren't speaking from that point of view of something very passionate. And so the audience gets exposed to hearing music that maybe isn't performed by somebody who's as passionate about what they did as, say, somebody back in the 40s or 50s who just had to do this.
It can be very cold sometimes, you know. Jazz is a very harsh standard. People talk to you very directly.
I would like to see education become something where we focus more on inspiring people to find out who they are, to find their own voice, rather than try to be like somebody else.
But the most important thing to learn in the beginning is to learn how to have fun just playing the instrument.
When you make a young kid sit down, learn some kind of complex classical piece with a metronome, and you have to practice this every day, what they learn about music is not natural, and it's not a good method of teaching. It's best to do exactly like you do with their linguistic studies. You're always encouraging them.
The difficulties an instrument can pose a child can be the biggest hurdle to a child, sometimes even just physically, especially in the case of the trombone. Little kids can't reach out far enough to play trombone a lot of times. They get discouraged just because they can't hit the notes that are way out here because their arms haven't grown long enough.
The biggest lesson I've learned teaching jazz to young people is that there's no one right way to do a thing, and every person presents a different set of talents and skills.
If we can help young people trust their own thoughts, their own ambitions, their own dreams, then what they're going to end up doing is going to be much stronger than if we just tell them what to do.
We are really about the spirit of jazz music, bring people into the feeling of it, and integration, bring things together. So we're going in that direction. And there's a lot of fruit in those trees.